Now, today, they're talking about Valentine on Mysteries of the Unknown, right? The Roman Emperor at this time is trying to outlaw marriage because he wants his troops, right, to go to war with no ties. You heard the term sex with no strings attached, right? It probably came from this, right? Story, right?
Valentine inscribes it as only he can. With a final flourish, he signed it from your Valentine. Following his death, Valentine's loving last words live on. The story of his final letter to Julius spreads throughout the Roman Empire and beyond. Eventually, the ridiculous edict banning marriage is rescinded. For his heroic actions, Valentine is canonized by the Catholic Church, which gives him a memorable Saint's Day.
Valentine's Day, right?
His execution actually became known as his day, Valentine's Day. Today, few people recall the priestly origins of one of the world's most beloved holidays. But every year, lovers young and old swap cards and letters expressing their love for one another. One such Valentine from the early 19th century is on display at the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History. It recalls a saintly hero's final words and the romantic holiday they inspired. From a sinister seance to a high-jumping...
Right, now I can show you the whole story because we got time. I don't know. Right. Don't you hate it when you come into the middle of the story, you don't know what the hell's going on, but they act like they know when they don't either? You know what I mean? I think that's the problem, right? People want to jump in with the milk of the word, right? And only teach you the milk of the word, right? Here we go. So this is the story of Valentine's Day, right?
Charting this and other moments from the region's past is the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History.
On Travel TV, right?
Engraving that would be celebrated. A playful image of paper. Here, among local farming equipment and vintage clothing, is an artifact that's recognized around the world. It's made of faded paper and is shaped like a heart. There's a decorative gold pattern across the border. And in the middle of the object, there's kind of a playful image of Cupid. The charming appearance of this card belies the heartbreaking origins of a beloved international holiday. This is a story of love and bravery that would be celebrated for centuries. The history of the Roman Empire is rife with tales of disturbed rulers. According to lore, the Emperor Caligula tried to appoint his horse to a government position. Named Commodus murdered a slave because his bathwater was too cold. And the infamous Nero fiddled while Rome burned.
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then, yeah. You know we'll have a good time then. Sorry, that song just popped in my mind.
Was the Emperor Claudius Gothicus. A vicious warrior of barbarian birth, Claudius was known to be unpredictable and violent. Claudius was very cruel and very ruthless. And then he had this constant thirst to go into bloody battle after bloody battle. But his most unhinged decree will eventually have a surprisingly endearing consequence. It's 278 AD. Claudius is waging a brutal military campaign. and the tempestuous tyrant wants his soldiers to focus on one thing:
The battlefield.
the battlefield. So, to rid the
Hey, diddle diddle, cat in the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such a sight, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Huh, right.
any distractions back at home, Claudius enacts a bizarre policy. He outlaws marriage.
He knew that if people didn't have anything to really go home to, they'd be much more likely to fight. He hoped that that would kind of motivate them to join the army.
Not surprisingly, the emperor's edict is highly unpopular.
People are outraged. How can you decide for us that we can't get married? This is the
Now that's the whole point, though. When talking about keeping your virgin, right, in Corinthians, Paul's talking to the fathers, right, who, when their daughter gets of age, they're to either betroth her to a man, right, or keep her a virgin, right? That's what he's saying, right? That's what that's all about, right?
bedrock of society. So they thought it was really ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Public outcry swells. One Roman takes a stand. A 43-year-old priest named Valentine of Terni.
Valentine was really devoted to people. He believed that marriage was a right that everybody had, and it couldn't.
And see, that's the point too. That we were paired together in Eden, man and woman, right? Man and wife, right? Which, when she was first taken from him, right? What state would Isha and Ish be? Unmarried. But when they got married, Moses adds a little bit more to her name, right? He changes it from Isha to Ishtu. I know. With a thu almost, right? See, there's two different T's in the Hebrew. One is without the dot, which they make that one TH. And then one has a dot, which is T. That's kind of weird if you ask me. But anyway. Well. When they were one and then made two, right? God took bone and flesh and from him to make her. And he recognized her as his sidekick. Right. It's like Batman, but with Batgirl as, again, his sidekick instead of Robin the Boy Wonder, right? Right. Now, like I said, right, some people can't handle the truth, right? No matter what you tell them, right? They just want to play dumb, right? Well, that's okay, right? Christ died equally for the people who play dumb and the people who understand, right? Though we all make mistakes, see? Now, the thing is, right, you're trying to convince me I did something with my stepdaughter, right? When I know there's no way in hell, right, I would do something with it, right? Because I'm the one who feels I'm being done wrong in the first place, right? Anyway. And my response, if my wife did me wrong, ain't going to be to do her wrong back, right? It's going to be leave her butt first chance I get if she don't straighten up and apologize, right, for what she did, right? Well, to this day, like I said, she never really publicly, to my face, apologized, right, for that. She acted like it was what she needed to do, I guess, right? Well, like I told you, I felt like at the time this was about me anyway, if she didn't care if I even met her family, right? This was about getting her daughter from her mother, right? So I'm a bright enough boy to figure that out, right? Right. So I know not to touch her daughter, no matter the situation I find myself in. But of course, only if I'm alone with her, and she's in the bedroom with her, and she comes in there to me, which is complicated, ain't it? All right. This ain't a simple story you make up without knowing it's made up, right? See, some people think the child is sexual at 4. See, I know better, right? The only way the child can be sexual around me at 4 is called coaching the child, right? Meaning, right? I'm not ever alone with my stepdaughter. Wow. A, I'm paranoid schizophrenic. B, Daphne knew that. And her and her daughter slept in our bedroom after she left me straight to Tennessee, and I took the couch, right? Now, you know when you do a big fight with your wife, that's what you do. All men. You piss off your wife, you're on the couch, buddy. Everybody knows the story. I'm telling, right? And I had to take the couch, right? Now, since I'm such a good guy, though, I'd also leave a light on, right? In case Daphne or my stepdaughter need to go to the bathroom, right? Right. But anyway, right, like I told you, I usually go to bed between 11 on the weekdays, right? And around, if I'm watching a movie or something, sometimes 12 or 1. And, it depends on if I've seen something I like I watch SNL on Saturdays sometimes, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I might catch the rerun, sometimes I don't, right? You know what I mean, right? Or I might catch a movie, or I might go to bed around 11 anyway. You know what I mean, right? You go to bed a little bit differently, though, on the weekend than on the weekday. Though generally you go to bed at a reasonable time to wake up to go to work refreshed. So, like I told you, the first 4 days she was with her biological dad anyway, right? And me and Daphne were in the apartment alone, right? And from day 1, I was on the couch, right? Until the end, right? When I got my room on base, right? Now that went at least either to Friday or Sunday. I don't remember all the details, right? That's why I'm giving you 2 opinions, right? Not one. You're trying to give me one opinion, and neither me nor my ex-wife know what you're talking about, unless she's trying to entrap me, like I said, right? And had a camera set up without my knowledge, right? And tried to make something I don't remember an issue with her and her daughter, whereas I wouldn't be prepared, right? Or know what to do if she came in there to me or not, including, like I told you, making up the scenario of what I would or wouldn't do if she did, right? Also based on the show SUV, or SVU, Special Victims Unit, on NBC, right? Because this started almost within 6 months of being on YouTube anyway, right? And I don't know who started the rumor, but whoever it is, we're still arguing the same problem, right? Till now.
Couldn't be stripped away by edict or by some emperor.
The priest makes a brave decision to conduct weddings in secret.
He was the only one.
Braveheart, anyone? Braveheart, anyone?
Married people who want to be married no matter what.
Now, the difference there, though, in the movie Braveheart, is the English lords wanted first dibs, right? See, if you got married, the English lord would violate your marriage and have sex with your wife, right, on your wedding night instead of you, right? And that's crappy. That's crappy. Yeah, that's bull. And what happened is Mel Gibson's character married his wife in secret, but when they realized that they were married, they killed her, right? And that sent him into a frenzy, and again, that's where he became Braveheart, right? Which I understand, like I said, right? I think the Lord would too, right? Who forgave the woman caught in the act of adultery anyway.
To the delight of his fellow Romans.
Right.
People really loved Valentine. He became kind of a local hero for what he was doing.
But this is the real story of it, right?
Valentine red-handed in the middle of
Performing the ceremonies, right?
The guards arrest the priest. Valentine is sent to prison to await execution.
So the emperor wants to kill the man, right? Again, right?
For that, he was sentenced to death. People were very, very sad.
But the fearless father has a romantic trick up his sleeve. One that will inspire people for generations.
What happened within the walls of the prison would shape Western culture for centuries to come.
But some of you don't even know the story of why we celebrate Valentine's Day. You just see it as another day, right? Well, some crazy emperor outlawed marriage, and that's why we're celebrating it even now, right? In memory of all this, right?
Domino's online carryout deal now includes
There
our
you go.
delicious everyday dips and twists.
He has curly.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of many months, like sacrifice.
News from the
In the city.
Daughter of one of the... Story goes, Valentine of Terni is languishing in jail. When one day he finds some solace in an unlikely visitor, the daughter of one of the prison guards. Her name is Julia.
Julia was kind and she was compassionate. Like many people in the city, she looked up to him in a certain kind of way.
Every day, Julia brings Valentine food and water and news from the outside world. Over time, their relationship grows.
Over the course of many months, this friendship deepened and it became something more special.
On February 14th, Valentine's execution date arrives. But before he is brought to the gallows, the priest pens a handwritten note to Julia. In the letter, he thanks the young woman for her kindness during their time together. And at the bottom of the page, Valentine inscribes it as only he can.
With a final flourish, he signed it, "From your Valentine."
But like I told you, I'm a romantic. I don't know what you are. Whoever you are.
His death, Valentine's loving last words live on.
But I'm not on the ship of romantic men. They're wanting to do me in the butt, and I keep telling them no.
The story of his final letter to Julia spreads throughout the Roman Empire and beyond.
And trust me, it's not about gay or straight. It's to prove I wanted them, right? But I didn't, I know.
Eventually, the ridiculous edict banning marriage is rescinded. For his heroic actions, Valentine is canonized by the Catholic Church, which gives him a memorable Saint's Day.
And February 14th, the day of his execution, actually became known as his day, Valentine's Day.
Today, few people recall the priestly origins of one of the world's most beloved holidays. But every year, lovers young and old swap cards and letters expressing their love for one another. One such Valentine from the early 19th century is on display at the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History. It recalls a saintly hero's final words and the romantic holiday they inspired. From a sinister seance.
Okay. But that's the whole point, right? Whatever sabotage happened from my ship to my girlfriend's ship, right? At the time when all this kind of started, the shipmates were fed up with me, right? Trust me, right? Whatever they were doing, right? It wasn't working, right? To get rid of me, right? Until I started hearing voices, right? Which caused me to go overboard with my then girlfriend, right? And keep writing her, not knowing what I did wrong to her in the first place, right? And asked her to marry me in my mind, right? In Jerusalem or something if our ships wasn't there, right? And that I had prayed and fasted about it. And God said if both our ships make it to Jerusalem, we could get married there. That's how I interpret it, because what happened was I was on watch, and we were in the port of Sicily, both her ship and my ship. And that's when I was on watch, I heard the voice, right? Because we left March, April. We met sometime around between that time, right? And, it takes about, say, maybe about a week to cross the Atlantic by ship, right? Now, somewhere in there, right? And we went to a few ports, right? First Rhoda, then a port in Italy, and then a port in Palma, right? Which is the name of the port, right? Right. It's on a little island off of Spain, right? Right. So anyway, that's where I meet my sixth girlfriend, right? But that's also when all hell breaks loose on the ship, and it starts going from bad to worse for me, right? Because they stick me on the 12, the 4s, right? In my division, right? And then they have me when we're in port painting the ship. Which the odd thing about that is that gave me more liberty when we were in port, and I didn't have to stay watch. We just had to paint the ship from 8 to 4. Right. And I did that throughout our little adventures in the Mediterranean. So anyway, we go from Palma, right, which that's between March to April we get there, right, and May, right, and then we go to Sicily next, right, and that takes about 30 days, right, and we start writing each other, and to me everything's going good, right, as far as I knew, right, and we were both, in my mind, backslidden Christians. She told me a story about her dad, and I didn't judge her, but I thought, both wanted to, be together, right?